Mike Tannenbaum, former general manager with a couple NFL teams, on his prediction for the Browns in 2025, ESPN's First Take.
Kirk Cousins will lead the Browns to the AFC North division title. And to me, this one's really easy because you reunite with Kevin Stefanski. They need a quarterback. They have a really good defense. And if Kirk Cousins plays B or better, they win the division.
What? Like he was going to join and be what? Maybe the third best quarterback in that division. He couldn't finish this with the Falcons. Like, what are we talking about? Kirk Cousins? Like, what do the Browns need more than one expensive quarterback that they can't play? Is another expensive quarterback that they can't play? Like, what are we talking about?
Hey, to my point, I said the Browns was going to have Kirk Cousins. I didn't say he was going to win the division. I just said they need to add another guy that can go out there and compete with Deshaun Watson. I ain't say he was going to go win the division now, Mike. You was on your own with that one.
Casey, it's important to note, he isn't going to be expensive. He has a no-trade clause. He can force his way out of Atlanta and sign a Russell Wilson $1.26 million a year deal. So he ain't going to be expensive. The question is he healthy? And what was his relationship with Kevin Stefanski like? We assume it was good because he had a great year.
Yes.
We don't know that for a fact, though.
I've been on that exact same point. Like, they did have success together. Cousins was his most efficient year under Stefanski, but that doesn't mean the working relationship was great. We don't know that. What will tell us that is if he forces his way out and immediately comes to Cleveland, those questions will have been answered. But because of what we saw last offseason with the Russell Wilson, Denver cutting bait, having to pay his salary, signs vet minimum with Pittsburgh, it's worked out to a degree. So if you're a team looking just to elevate your quarterback play, to raise your floor, I think there'll be a market for Kirk Cousins in that regard. There's such a quarterback-hungry league, and the draft doesn't supply a lot of them this year. So the fact that he could possibly become available and cheap, the Browns will be the only people vying for his services, so that if he ends up in Cleveland, that would answer the question about him and Kevin Stefanski's working relationship. I just want to push back on this compete with Deshaun Watson narrative. Did everybody miss the part where his Achilles snapped on television? Did you see that? There's no competing. He's not competing in training camp. He'll be on the pup. That's just the way this is going to go. So I don't think you're bringing someone to compete with Deshaun Watson at the beginning of the season. Now, if Watson gets healthy and things get wonky, could they see him back to the field? Possibly. But I think if you can bring in a Kirk Cousins, great. Draft a guy, bring in another free agent. The Browns are at a point now, they just got to throw as much at the wall as possible. Cast the widest net. Bring in 4, bring in 5 quarterbacks. You can't have enough until you find your field general of the future.